So we spent some time discussing Calibishie's music, and at previous occasions we also discussed calypso arts and other aspects of the culture of the community. We spoke about the exorcist play that people like Sonny and Derek and them had put on, and other things that the young people of the village were engaged in or with during my time. So Calibishie had been a bed of creativity and cultural happenings, and it's still that, just in a different time, in a slightly different way. We made reference of the Solid 7, which to me was the highlight of my formative times, albeit at the really commencement stages, because I cannot remember a lot about the band, but I knew the band was that thing. And I promised that I might have offered a theory why I believe the band failed, why Exile 1 made it, Gramax, Chobi, and the Midnight Movers, to list a few, including Bell's Combo. And why didn't Solid 7 make it? My hunch is that back then in the 70s, people saw musicians and the like as people who are lazy because they do not actively work, because music was not seen as work back then. People did not understand the intellect behind the musicians and the property that comes with the intellect of playing music. So that vision was not yet astutely developed, and as such, people like Garrett, who could have played bass anywhere in the world better than any bassy, was seen as someone who was just chilling, playing music, getting immersed in the music. Say, Munsa, you fenya. And that was not true. Garrett was consummate. He was all music. Music was him, and music came through him. You could never pass Dordan's house and not hear bass strings going. And as a boy, that used to motivate me. I used to stop and watch him through the little louvers. And sometimes he used to be outside on the veranda, on the porch. I used to sometimes go inside Dordan's house and sit by him, teaching me chords. What chords that now? My mind wasn't on them things. I just wanted to understand how Garrett did his thing. At Zenos, that no, Zenos was not even thought of as yet. You know? Anyway, so I think the failure of the Solid 7 was the general attitude that the people had towards the artists and the musicians. And had the community embraced the musicians, not as the other communities embraced the musicians, you know, because Bell's Combo, Groovers, Gramax, Exile 1 had to survive because of the outside people that were attracted to the music that they were playing. You know, Gordon spoke about his original band, which went to play in France, and then, not in France, in Martinique. Well, Martinique is France anyway. And it is because of the exposure in Martinique, they got opportunities to play in Guada. Then they went to France to play at the discotheque, and that is where the idea of Cadaslypso was created. Gordon tried on many occasions to resettle in Dominica with the music, but the system in Dominica was not biting the way in which the more advanced world was biting for the music. That's why Gordon is living in France today. There was one time in Gordon's life when he relocated to Dominica, but he had to move back to France. And that same attitude is what killed the Solid 7 groove. If the Solid 7 had gotten an escape, let's say to travel out, let's say to Guadeloupe right there, Solid 7 or the Solid 7 Solid 7 story might have been the Exile 1 story. Well, there could have been 2 Exile 1s, so to speak. And that is the point I wanted to make. So I think the demise of the Solid 7 was because of the general prevailing attitude in the country at the time against musicians. They didn't understand the vision behind the music, and we lost, I think, a major institution in Calibishie that would have been a 35, 40-year-old story now, just as Exile 1 is. We'll continue here on Calibishie Chronicle after this.